So LeBron's legacy is solidified now. He's won 4 championships with 3 different teams. He's won 4 MVPs. He's done everything. He's the all-time scorer. He's either the best player ever or the second best player ever. But this wasn't always the case. And he saved his legacy on a specific night in Boston.
Boy, yeah, he was between a rock and a hard place. Coming off that finals loss to the Mavericks, down 3-2 to the Celtics, who have kind of owned him for a while up to this point in his career. And boy, did he respond.
Before we get into talking about LeBron's historic performance against the Celtics, if you guys enjoy NBA content like this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new uploads. Yeah, you mentioned it. The 2011 finals was by far the worst moment of LeBron's career. Dude didn't look anything like himself. He had all the scrutiny after this. Next year, it's a lockout year, gets an extra long offseason to think about it, and he comes back with arguably the best season of his entire career.
Yeah, LeBron's 2011 finals, I would say it was not only the worst moment of his career, because it was by far. I think it's the worst finals by a superstar, like all-time level player. I can't think of one worse. Maybe like Magic in his first series against Larry Bird when he was dubbed Tragic Johnson. Even Magic got that series to a 7th game against Larry Bird. LeBron couldn't even get to game 7 against Dirk. I love Dirk. Dirk's great, but on paper, the Heat were the better team and it wasn't close.
Yeah, this was prime LeBron and he couldn't even score 18 points a game. Didn't in game 4 he had like 8 points?
He did, yes.
Terrible.
That's terrible.
But like I said, he responded with an all-time season. He had everything this year. He was elite on offense, insanely efficient, 53.1 field goal percentage. He shot 36% from 3, one of the best defensive players in the league as well. But none of this was gonna matter if he didn't win the ring this season.
Yeah, what I remember from this season all year was Stephen A. Smith on First Take, because you know Skip's gonna be the LeBron hater, right?
Of course.
The sunrise, sunset, Skip's gonna be the LeBron hater. All season, Stephen A. just every single time LeBron had a great moment, he would just be like, in his typical Stephen A-isms, means nothing to me if he doesn't get that ring. If he doesn't get that ring, it means nothing to me.
And I remember the team, everyone was like, he's gonna have to go through the Bulls. They have D-Rose. He beat him last year, but the Bulls were older. D-Rose had some more experience. It looked like it was gonna be Heat versus Bulls. But D-Rose, of course, unfortunately tears his ACL in that game 1 against the 76ers.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, so sad to see, but from the Heat perspective, it's like, oh, the East is ours now. Like, this is gonna be an easy cakewalk. They handled the Knicks easily in the first round, beat them in 5. LeBron dominated. The second round, though, Chris Bosh suffered that injury in game 1, and the Pacers kind of played him tough.
Oh, the Pacers played him incredibly tough. This was the start of the Pacers-Heat rivalry, which was one of the best rivalries of the early 2010s, despite the fact it was completely one-sided. Like, the Pacers never even came close. I mean, they got to a game 7, but they never got one up on the Heat at all. And you know what? There were still a lot of questions about LeBron, because in game 6, wasn't LeBron that led the Heat. Dwayne Wade was the guy who scored 41 and led the Heat to that game 6 win.
And then on the other side of the bracket, the Celtics did make the conference finals, but they kind of looked shaky.
Well, I mean, they were 39-27 in a lockout shortened season. They beat the Hawks in 6 in the first round, and then lo and behold, you get the 8th seeded 76ers. I don't know how anyone could look at them in the conference finals and be like, oh yeah, I have total faith in this team, guys. They beat the 8th seed in 7 games.
Yeah, that's kind of pathetic. Like, the A seed takes you to 7, but they won. I mean, they've played LeBron before, so I'm sure they had some confidence, but this Celtics team was old. Kevin Garnett, 35. Paul Pierce, 34. Ray Allen, he was 36 at this point. This was honestly when Rondo was arguably their best player, but I don't think many people thought the Celtics stood a chance because they were just so damn old at this point.
Well, also, the Heat bounced them in 5 the year before.
Yeah, they dominated them that series. The one thing though, Chris Bosh was still injured. There was a lot of questions. Was he going to return? Game 1 though, close for a bit. Heat pulled away in the second half. 193-79. LeBron had 32. Game 2, this one was super close. The Heat won an OT 115-111, but how about Rondo? 44 points in 10 10 assists. All-time forgotten game for Rajon Rondo.
I tell you, we're going to have to do a video on Rondo at some point because prime Rondo just put up the most absurd stat lines you'll ever see. Like a passing first point guard who probably averaged 12 points per game on the season, giving you 44 and 10 assists.
Game 3, Celtics need to respond, and they did. 101-91, so gotta win the series. In Game 4, another insanely close game. It went to OT. LeBron fouls out. The Heat only scored 2 points in overtime, and they end up losing by 2. So all of a sudden, we have a series on our hands. It kind of felt like the Heat had all control, but Boston takes care of home court, and we go back to Miami for Game 5.
I think that was the only time in LeBron's playoff career he's fouled out.
I think so. I can't remember another time.
I can't either.
Chris Bosh finally made his return for Game 5, so the Heat had that coming. You know, it was scary being tied at the Celtics, but you get Chris Bosh back. It seemed like you win this game, you take control. But Paul Pierce was not going to let that happen. Paul Pierce had a huge three on LeBron in this game with 53 seconds left.
Oh, you know Paul Pierce had to be feeling good about that.
Oh, yeah, he was
For a guy
it.
that hates LeBron, just outright hates the man, hitting a three in his eye on his court to, in everyone's eyes, seal this series. I can't think of a single fan, pundit, anyone who thought the Heat had any chance to win Game 6 back in Boston.
No, everyone was like, this is over. This might be the end of the big three Heat altogether. Like, they might need to break up the team. This would be an all-time failure. Like, the worst failed super team in NBA history if they didn't win a ring again. What do you think of when you think of this game?
You think of the look.
Yeah, you think of the look where the camera's slowly zooming in on him and you're just like, oh,
that was a man on a mission.
And we've never seen LeBron like that his entire career. Like, it's just this specific game. He entered some alternate zone. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, he was just locked in.
He looked like a man possessed. Genuinely, it looked like a different, like, mentality. Something had taken over LeBron. Because up to this point, he was playoff choker LeBron. He was doesn't want the big moments LeBron. As Skip Bayless famously quoted, the frozen one. LeBron. And just that look of pure determination at the beginning of the game. That was the look of, I am going to will this team to a win no matter what it takes. And genuinely, this whole game is one of the few times in NBA history you will see a single player beat an entire team.
Yeah, 100%. And the main thing about this game, sure, he scored 45 points. He had 15 rebounds. But what makes this game so special is I can't think of another game, another playoff game for a superstar with more pressure.
Oh, no, it's not even close.
In the start of the game, he misses his first shot, and then he proceeds to make his next 12 field goals.
And he was doing everything. He was getting to the rim. He was hitting jumpers. And this was back, before LeBron somewhat developed a jump shot. I know he's been god-awful in the playoffs this year, but this was back when his jump shot was very shaky. It was very come and go. And he was hitting mid-range shots. He was hitting threes. He was getting dunks in transition. He was getting to the rim. He was scoring from everywhere.
The first basket he scored this game, I just love. He's dribbling up. Paul Pierce is guarding him. He just blows by Paul Pierce, leaves him in the dust, and throws down just an insanely hard dunk. Like, KG doesn't even attempt to block it. The ball bounces off the ground, bounces back up. Like, it's legit one of the harder dunks I've seen him throw down. And from there, you just knew, like, this is going to be different. And an even more iconic dunk. This is probably my favorite LeBron putback of all time.
Ooh.
Chris Bosh misses a little hook shot. The Heat are up by 8. And LeBron comes out of nowhere.
Comes from, like, the 3-point line.
He does. KG had no idea where he was. All the Celtics players are just trying to get the rebound. And he comes in out of nowhere. And again, he just packs the ball through. And like I said, it was just his demeanor, his attitude. It was different this game.
Yeah, I mean, talk about riding one player to the bank. Played all 24 minutes in the first half, 30 points, 12 of 14 shooting. And in the second half, it felt like every time the Celtics maybe had a little bit of momentum, LeBron would score. I remember there was one big three he had where the Celtics, they had cut the lead down to 10, and LeBron comes and just swishes a three from the top of the key, puts the lead back at 13, and the Celtics never got any closer.
No. And one thing I didn't know about this, he played the entire first half. He didn't check out of the game till 3:11 remaining. Just straight played the entire game. He's like, I'm not letting us lose. I don't care what it takes. I'll play, I'll score, I'll grab 15 rebounds. We are not losing this game.
Like I said before, this is one man beating an entire team. It is. This is one guy beating 5.
And in my opinion, this is LeBron James' best ever game on an NBA basketball court. The pressure, the moment, the attitude, the performance, all together, this is just peak LeBron for me.
What puts it over the top is the moment. moment is
Exactly.
the pressure. It's not my favorite LeBron game ever. I will always love his 2007 game against Detroit. To me, that like scoring 25 points in a row.
That's fair.
29 of their last 30. The iconic shot of him coming off the court and Mike Brown just giving him a hug as he's exhausted. That will always be my favorite LeBron game. But there was nowhere near the expectations on LeBron. He was probably expected to lose that game to the Pistons.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm sure y'all remember what basically happened the rest of the year. Game 7, this game was actually closer than I think a lot of people remember. The Celtics were up for most of this game, but LeBron and D-Wade, they just took over in the fourth. They beat the Celtics again. And then in the finals, again, this series is actually pretty close, game by game, but the Heat win in 5, and LeBron James finally gets that first ring.
That was a great day for me.
Yeah.
I was so happy. I don't know where you were at with LeBron at this point, but I was just like, he did it. I was so happy for him.
Let's talk a little bit about the aftermath of that game and that series. If LeBron doesn't win this game mentioned earlier, is he in the GOAT discussion? Does he have any chance at the GOAT discussion?
No.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you could stop the conversation right there. No, he does not have any chance. In his second year in Miami, with the Big Three, the overwhelming favorite to win the title, and you don't even make the finals.
And do you think the Heat Big Three stay together? Like, do they trade Bosh? Do they trade Wade? Like, if they lose this game, I feel like they at least trade Bosh.
I feel like they would have traded Wade.
Really?
I feel like they would have looked at Wade and LeBron's relationship as being a bit too buddy-buddy, a bit too friendly. Because LeBron was not going anywhere. He was the one untouchable on that Heat team. I think they would have said, you know what? These guys are great friends, but they're too good of friends to hold each other accountable.
Okay,
and I think,
can see it.
And I think they would have sent Wade out. I really do.
And finally, the last major ramification from this game. How about Ray Allen just dipping from the Celtics? He signs with the Heat that offseason.
We broke LeBron. Well, LeBron broke you, KG. He broke your team.
Literally did. Ray Allen, kind of a snake for that, but...
very much a snake.
Since I liked the Heat during that era and hated the Celtics, I was all for it. Think about that. Like, if Ray Allen doesn't join them, they don't beat the Spurs the next year. Like, so many things, domino effects, just from this one game that altered NBA history.
What can we say? It's iconic.
So what do you guys think of LeBron's historic game against the Celtics in Game 6? Is this LeBron's best playoff game of all time? If you enjoyed this video, consider watching another video on screen, give the video a like, and subscribe to Synthetic Sports.